Hello, my name is Toby Neal. Um, Today I'll be presenting my case interview for Dr. Sweeney and the other members of the Epic Charter School Administration. I appreciate the opportunity. Um, I have to admit, I'm not accustomed to doing this webcam recording, so I'm trying not to stare at myself in that box. We're going to make it through this. Thank you, guys. So the topics that I was asked to research, um, there are three topics. The first is data-driven instruction. So first off, what is it? Um, at its simplest, it's really just using known information to plan the next step. In terms of education, that's going to be planning how to get our students up to where they are able to meet the standardized testing requirements um, and the other goals that we set for them throughout the year. Um, it can sound overwhelming, but we want to talk about how we're collecting data, how we're using data. Um, it's really more useful and not as overwhelming as you may think. So there's basically two forms of data. There's formative data, which is taken as teaching and learning happens. It's the things that we do every day as you're giving a lecture. You stop to interact with students. It may be homework that requires some demonstration of what you told them. But it's just the things that you're doing every day anyway, and applying those steps. Then we have summative data, which is taken at the end of a period. I like to think of it as maybe a semester final, end of the year finals. We can even use standardized testing into that as some summative data for us to take a look at. So why is data-driven instruction important? I think in any profession, and as educators, it's no different. I think just we as human beings want to show that we have the ability to improve continuously over time. No one wants to be stuck. Using this data-driven approach really generates continuous improvement because it forces you to look at the areas that you're doing well and the areas that you're not, and carry on from there. The second thing is we have a competency-based system. Unfortunately, it may not be the best method, but it does come down to standardized testing in the state of Oklahoma. So we really just want to find the best approach to get these students in and get them to where they need to be. Using data-driven instruction can really help us achieve that goal in a clear-cut, logical approach. Tying into that, the ultimate goal of any educator is you want to ensure that your students are learning. I really believe that data-driven instruction is vital to achieving that goal. Again, it just goes towards the implementation, checking your lesson plan, following up, making sure the numbers are meeting your expectations. The next topic is differentiated instruction. So what it is basically it's an ongoing practice or a philosophy that requires a few things. The first is going to be the instructor will need to identify the strengths, weaknesses, and needs of each student. The teacher also needs a clear understanding of our own desired outcomes. Kind of goes along with the SMART goals. I'm sure you're familiar with those, but being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive kind of falls into this here, this requirement here. Excuse me. The next thing is lesson planning and distribution directed towards the individual. So we'll identify the strengths and weaknesses. We're going to understand where we want to be, identify our goals, and then the hopes of differentiated instruction is that we can identify a lesson plan that best meets the needs of those students and direction towards the outcomes that we hope to achieve in an efficient manner. Why is it important? This approach has been proven multiple studies that each student, individuals all learn differently. It's in our nature. A cookie cutter type formula is just not going to work well for everyone. We have the ability, why not give each of these kids a chance to learn in the way that works best for them? Another issue we face in Oklahoma for different reasons, low income areas, rural communities, we have some accessibility gaps that we need to overcome. I think Epic is on their way to overcoming these issues as well. As an example, I wrote about in my case interview, the kids growing up, right out here at Duncan, we've got a small community Empire school system, great people, good folks. I'm not knocking them, but they have a much different structure than the kids at a Tulsa Union or maybe Edmond, Santa Fe. You know, they don't have the elective courses. They don't have some of the preparatory courses that are being offered to some of the students in the bigger places with a little better income. I believe technology, differentiated instruction can allow kids in any corner of Oklahoma to access a little more of the chances that are given at some of the other school systems. And finally, I think differentiated instruction teachers are more valuable than just what they're going to learn this year, just passing this year's test. I think you can teach kids to really own a stake in their own education when they're having a say in where their information comes from or the avenue they pursue to get it. They learn to analyze multiple sources of information. In today's world, the misinformation that is on the internet, the echo chambers that are created in social media, it's a really valuable skill. Even as an adult, we can struggle if we're not careful to be sure that we're getting our information from a place that's really a valid source. The final topic I want to talk about today is personalized learning. Kind of the same as we hit on before. I think we've learned now, and we have the ability now to tailor our learning environment to each student. You know, I remember as a child listening to my parents speak to other parents after PTA meetings, the question of how can we make the schools work better for everyone? 30 years later, I'm a parent. We still have the same questions. I think it's a great one. No system is perfect. It needs to be improved upon. What has changed now, though, in our generation is I think we have the ability to offer this in some formats that just weren't available, you know, to my parents or their parents before them. We have the technology now. We have the ability to present this in a way that's not just such a cookie cutter, one size fits all type of form. It's really going to give our students the best chance to succeed. We know where the finish line is, but you know, we're not all starting from the same place. Personalized learning really guarantees that each child has a chance, has the same chance as everyone else to get to where they want to be at the end. And finally, it kind of goes into what I hit on before. There's no profession, job employment in the world today that doesn't require you to adapt and evolve in some way. It's something we have to do every day. We get into the personalized learning now. Again, it kind of teaches students where to find valuable information, how to stay up to date. The internet can be an amazing tool as far as that goes. If you learn where credible sources can be found, you can stay up to date anywhere. I'd like to close on the personalized learning. I thought this quote from Alvin Toffler, who's a journalist and a futurist, I think it kind of summarizes really the need for a place like Epic Charter School and where we're going. But the quote, as you can see there, is the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read or write, but those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. I don't think the man was right about everything by any means, but that's a very real factual statement. I think it's in all of our lives. The best way to start is here in school. What better place to develop the skills that you're going to need later on. I appreciate your time. I hope to speak with you guys again in the future. Have a good day.